Folks, welcome. One Trick Mishima here, and with all the buzz that's been going around the Tekken community recently, especially after Ikari won EVO Japan, I wanted to make my first video about my main, the man I have 1,000 hours on throughout the Tekken franchise alone, Kazuya Mishima. Now, before we get into this, I want to preface I am not a pro player. A lot of my opinions may be flawed in certain areas. However, I do feel that I am very qualified to talk about this situation because I have firsthand seen Kazuya's strengths and weaknesses affect my gameplay tremendously. And I figured today we'd give it a go. We'd talk about it, his strengths, his weaknesses, what needs nerfed, and what changes I'd make to him as a character as a whole. I think he's very strong right now. However, the rhetoric that people are saying that he's top 5, top 3, I just think is overall completely insane. And let's get into why I think that. So for starters, I want to cover like how Kazuya plays his game. So Kazuya is very reliant on movement. I'd say he's one of the most reliant on movement out of anyone in the game right now. Simply because in a game like Tekken 8, you have so many characters that will rush you down with poking, plus frames into stance, and Kazuya doesn't really have any of that to match. He doesn't really have any poking in the neutral other than like sidestep 4, while standing 4, and then for a low poke, down back 4. That's really it. And so with Kazuya specifically, he needs to move around, backdash out of the opponent's range, and punish. This is very difficult. And not only is it difficult, a lot of times it is not in his favor because as you see here, the more I move, the more I backdash away, the closer I am to the wall. And being at the wall in any Tekken game, but especially Tekken 8, is very bad. So that would be his main weakness and why I think he's not necessarily top 5. However, Kazuya is still very strong. Kazuya's main game plan shines whenever he's knocked down an opponent. In this situation, the opponent has to wake up in an Oki situation to a Kazuya mix. A Hell Sweep, a while standing 3, or a launching forward 3. This mix-up is very strong. I think it's probably one of, if not the best 50-50s in the game. I think Kazuya has a lot of good potential on the knockdown game and one of the best advantages in Tekken, I think, period. And then another thing where he shines is if you notice where I'm at right now, the wall. The wall, I'd say Kazuya is easily a top 4 character in the game. I think the only characters that might be an exception or better than Kazuya at the wall are Brian, Yoshimitsu, and Victor. Because at the wall, you wake up into a wall standing 3, you wake up into a Hell Sweep, which launches at the wall, it wall splats for a full combo, or you can commit to something more non-committal. Let me turn off counter hit real quick. He can wake up into something more non-committal, take +4 at the wall with down back 4, and then convert this into another mix. So Kazuya at the wall, like I said, very strong, can absolutely mix you up, and you just kind of have to eat it. A lot of pros, what they'll do in this situation, including myself in the Kazuya matchup, like I said, not a pro, but whenever in the Kazuya matchup I'm facing him, a lot of times I will just not wake up. I will not get up, and I will eat a steel pedal. Like, say I hit something like this, now you're at the wall, I just stay down, and I eat the steel pedal. And that is a very strong tool, the steel pedal, because what the steel pedal does is it establishes Oki. So for you to be able to wake up at the wall, even if you eat the steel pedal, you're still having to face a 50-50. Kazuya's 50-50 at the wall is definitely, I'd say, top 3 at least, if not top 1. Another area Kazuya shines is his lows. Kazuya has what I think to be the best lows in the game. He's got, of course, the Hell Sweep that launches at the wall, or that wall splats at the wall. He's got down back 4, probably the best poking low in the game. He's got down back 3, a very low profile, goes under a lot of highs, a lot of mids, and it's just a really good panic option. Like if the opponent's at 1 HP, a lot of times what I like to do if they're at 1 HP is I like to Waifu in, and then like Waivu in, and then down back 3. Because on block, let me set him to block. Where are you at? Block all. This move is minus 12. So at most, you're eating a while standing 4-4. And so that is a very good panic button, panic low that is very non-committal. Another thing that he has, and this is something that I think absolutely desperately needs changed. Down back 1-2. This is his Scourge that both him and Jin had in Tekken 8 Season 1. Only thing is, Jin's got nerfed, and Kazuya avoided these nerfs. And the reason I say down back 1-2 is so good is because, first off, on normal hit sets up into +3, you have a good mix-up opportunity here. A good flowchart is this and a Fujin Arakan. And it's, or what a lot of Kazuyas will do is this and a Hell Sweep sets up into a nice mix. I like to go for this into a low poke like that, or if I can get it right, sidestep, crouch cancel, down back 4. So the mix-up that you can set up with down back 1+2 on normal hit is insane. On counter hit, though, is where I think this move is absolutely broken. On counter hit, it launches for a full combo. And if you can get the wall, like I said, you've got Oki. You've got wall Oki, and you're just absolutely winning off of a 23 frame low. Nearly unreactable. The average, the fastest a human can react to a low in this game is 23 frames. That has been tested. Very few can do 22, but this is a 23 frame unreactable low counter hit launcher for Half-Life. And if there's a stage with walls like Arena, sets up into full Oki at the wall. Absolutely nuts. And I haven't even gotten to his best tool yet. Let me introduce you to Devil Fist. Devil Fist is Kazuya's entire game plan at certain levels. And the reason is because this move is -9 on block. Let me set him to block real quick. -9 on block. Insane range. Note the range. You can hit from basically range 2.5 almost. Let's see. If I go here, 4 backdashes away, I can hit with a forward 2. I think that's ridiculous. I think the range is insane. However, I think it's fine. The one thing I think is not fine is in heat. So I'm going to set my opponent to sidestep left. Actually, no, I'm going to set him to sidewalk left. So if I jab... Wait, here, let me get in heat. If I jab, he sidewalks left. He still gets tracked by the Devil Fist. That's up close. Now let's see if backdash. Note the tracking. Dragunov here is sidestepping to Kazuya's weak side. And, however, there is counterplay to this. And it's very specific. As soon as he inputs the Devil Fist, you want to sidestep. Only then will it not track. You have to step on the start up of the move. Because see, there, if I do it again, and he sidewalks, if you sidewalk too early, you get clipped by this move. I think that's insane. And I don't think that should be in the game. I think that needs nerfs. Another reason forward 2 is good. And this is what needs to go absolutely the most. If you're going to get rid of anything on this move, it's this. Why does this launch? This move absolutely should not launch for a full combo. In the recent update, Heihachi's forward 1+2 removed its launching capability and simply let it be I forget what you get from it, but I think you just get a normal forward 2 into mix. And if Kazuya's forward 2 did what his down 1+2 did, set up into steel pedal into Oki. Goodness, I cannot mix today. If it sets up into Oki like down 1+2 does, I think you're fine. Like I said, still sets up into a very good character. He still has very reliable launchers. And that's another strength of his. And there's a reason I picked Dragunov for this. Because Kazuya is one of 2 characters that can fully launch 13 for minus 13. Only character who can do this. Other than him and Eddie Gordo are the only characters that can launch minus 13. I think this is a very strong tool for Kazuya and definitely speaks on where he is in terms of like his tier placements. I think this means a lot because there are a lot of key moves in this game, such as here, Dragunov's down 2, that are punishable at minus 13, and in any other matchup would be a fairly safe tool to use. Against Kazuya, you eat 79 damage. On top of this, his punish game is insanely good all around, I'd say. Because at minus 15, you can launch with electric, of course. Minus 16, you have while standing 2, which can set up into a ton of damage. And, of course, best of all, one of the best punishes in the game, one of the best punishing tools in the game, down 1-2. Down back 1-2 is insane. Because at minus 13, you get a heat engager into setup. And this is just one of his better buttons in general. Because he can heat dash out of it and gain a +5 advantage. So here, if I heat dash out of this, what would normally be a minus 19 move becomes +5, and I get a mix because of it. That is a very strong option. So I do think that Kazuya has a very strong toolkit. However, the only thing I think that keeps him from being top 5 in this game is his lack of poking. All he's got is heavy hitting committal moves. He pretty much gambles his whole life. He gambles his whole life bar every time he throws out a move. With the exception of the tools like forward 4-2, heck, down 1+2 in some situations, down back 4, and sometimes even electric can gamble your whole life bar, depending on the character you're facing. So Kazuya is very committal, and I think that keeps him out of the top 5 for me. Now, as of what keeps him out of the top 10, is just the fact that there are so many other characters that I believe are better than him. For instance, I believe that Brian is better, Dragunov better, King, of course, better, Nina, I think, is better, Leo, Leo's kind of 50-50, actually. I think Law is much better, Elisa could be better. I don't have all the characters unlocked, I'm not too rich. I think, let's see, who else? Kunimitsu, better. I think he is the best Mishima. And I think he is one of the top tiers. However, I think he lands on my personal tier list as like the 11th or 12th best character in the game. He's a very good character. Amazing damage. Great tools. Amazing mix-ups. It's just, he lacks something that is so important for Tekken 8 standards, that being poking. And poking in Tekken 8 has never been, in Tekken right now, poking has never been better. In Tekken 7, it wasn't as good. In Tekken 6, Tekken 8 is all about pokes. And Kazuya really does not have many pokes. Another tool that Kazuya has that's very good is his down forward 2. His down forward 2 is very good because it is only minus 11 on block, and on counter hit can set up into a full combo. 99 damage off of a counter hit down forward 2. And if you're really good, you can get a perfect electric combo. If you're really good with counter hit down forward 2, you can set up into at least 116 damage. So Kazuya's down forward 2, very risk reward, like low risk. Because at most, if you block that, you're eating, like, depending on the character, a 10-frame punish or an 11-frame. And then you're being put, like, into a decent mix situation. Minus 11 really ain't that bad for the amount of return you can get on down forward 2. Another amazing tool of his, Patricide Fist. Now, I will say, I do think Patricide Fist is a little overrated, simply for the reason that in a situation like Tekken 8, it's such a fast-paced game with, like I said, lots of heavy poking and a bunch of plus, like, 5 stance mix-ups. And I think compared to the rest of these tools, and the rest of the tools in the game, Patricide Fist is actually fairly balanced. Yes, it gives plus 5 into mix, right? It absolutely does that. It gives plus 5, very oppressive, and it's done from crouch dash. So it adds to Kazuya's mix-ups. However, this move is so linear. Let me set, once again, I'll set my opponent to sidestep. We'll sidestep left. Boom. One sidestep, and you miss that. Very linear. All it takes is one sidestep left. You can even sidewalk it. Sidewalking is what I find to be the best and most consistent option against Kazuya. Oh, not that. Sidewalk left will just obliterate this move. And sidewalk left obliterates a lot of Kazuya's standing mix-ups. Like, if you're standing up and he's coming in, wavering in for whatever reason, if he's not in heat, man, sidewalk left. Now, if he's in heat, you might want to be more careful with that because there is the forward 2 that does track. But if he ain't in heat, man, go for it. And then, of course, I saved this one for last. Electric. I mean, it's your bread and butter. I've been using it this whole session. Oh goodness. Plus 5, high, tracks to the right. Sets up for huge damage. And even at the wall sometimes, if you'd really like, you can set up here, run in. If they quick stand, put them on the wall for a plus 5 mix if they're not careful. Not many people expect electric here, so what a lot of people will do, on block, they'll press into plus 5, or they'll try and sidewalk, sidestep, but on plus 5, this move just obliterates. That's everything I really wanted to cover. I think Kazuya is very strong and does need nerfs. However, I think the entire cast needs nerfs. I think that he is a very broken character right now, and a lot of other characters are as well. These are just some of the changes I would make. So in conclusion, the changes I want to see down 1+2, stay minus 14, but on counter hit, set up into a steel pedal into mix. And then forward 2, I would like to take away its tracking and remove its launching properties. This now sets up into a steel pedal, just like down back 1-2. Those are the only nerfs I think he needs, and I think if you apply these nerfs, I think he becomes one of the most balanced characters, if not the most balanced character in the game. So guys, I hope you enjoyed the video today. I want to start making more Tekken content. This is just kind of my foot in the water. I wanted to go over my main. I wanted to go over everything I love about him, everything I hate about him, things I'd change. And I really hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a like if you do, subscribe, comment, whatever you want to do, whatever sort of engagement fits you best, by all means do it. Also, go check out my NBA YouTube channel, Tipped Off with Luke Dunlap. If you like hoops and you like my content, it's just more of me and it's more NBA talk. I'm an aspiring NBA journalist. I'm kind of doing this on the side for fun. I love Tekken, but the NBA is where I want to make a career. I would love if you guys would go over there, subscribe, and leave some love. But as for me, I am One Trick Mishima, signing off.